what's James Comey?
He was the FBI director.
Okay, but what was his claim to fame?
But he's been erased off the internet.
I think he's put a lot of people in
like
prison.
Literally after.
You can't find
after
it?
the Vlad interview?
Nothing,
after the Vlad interview?
Maybe that's what did it. Comey was like, now I'm associated with this mobster guy. How did that happen?
There's nothing. There's
scary.
like a cutoff, and there's nothing after that. It's like, what the hell happened to him? I have no idea.
But from what you can remember, I got no idea what his deal was, James Comey.
I think he rose through the ranks as a good FBI agent, allegedly, and then he became the director of the FBI for a while. So you helped him with his career, according to what Vlad read or heard. Just like they asked you about Giuliani. Remember?
Giuliani, I know that for sure. And that I know for sure. He wanted to come and thank me, he never did. And that was that. But James Comey.
Yeah, that was a new one on me.
And then 70 people. Okay. I don't know where these stats come from. Doesn't make a difference. Like I said, if the three of us gave information.
So, but the same thing that you were saying about the fake scenario with us, they used what you said against however many people, be it 70 or 20 or whatever it was, right?
Well, no, he testified. There's a difference.
I didn't testify.
Well, he didn't testify in 70 trials.
No, you couldn't have. Physically
that's
impossible.
the whole point here.
I testified I tell you right now, I testified in 3 trials. 3.
3.
What
about the other 67? He's like, right?
Defendants on those 3 trials. One trial was 1 defendant. One trial was 1 defendant. Another trial was 2 defendants. So 4 people.
That's 4 people.
Where's the other 66 people?
66 missing.
So if they say that what you provided put 70 people away and you only testified in 3 trials, they got to be able to use this information for a long time.
I don't know how they credit you for what. It's not that I never prided myself on. Like I said,
it wasn't something you were thinking about.
You know how I feel about testifying. I hate it. I hated it then. I hate it now, and it's something I never want to do again. I never want to do it again.
But this is the system. And you know, like you brought up Donald Trump, they did the same thing to him with all of the, you know, I'm going to go get indictments and do this, and I'm going to get you indicted on 50 counts and whatever. And the whole thing is like, if I get 50 counts against you, I know one's going to stick. You could finagle your way out of 48 of those, but you're not finagling your way out of 50.
It's just the system.
There's another thing called relevant conduct. You ever heard of that?
No.
Negative.
Pull that up.
Relative
conduct.
Let me give you a legal lesson.
Go ahead.
Relevant conduct.
Relevant conduct. Okay.
So now just what he said.
Putting the 2 words together, I'm gathering information, but go ahead.
Here's my last case. It mirrored Trump's case. They hit me with 16 counts. 9 counts were minimum mandatory 20 to life. 6 counts were minimum mandatory 10 to life. And 1 count was 0 to 5. Conspiracy to money launder, conspiracy to wire fraud. A lot of them were duplicate counts.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So really, at the end of the day, if you cut it in half, it was 8 counts. Okay? They just double it up. Like Giantonio said, they come at you with a shotgun approach. Okay, here we go. In federal criminal sentencing, relevant conduct refers to the range of criminal activity considered when determining a defendant's offense level, guideline sentencing range. Sentencing range. This principle goes beyond the specific crime the defendant was convicted of, including actions and omissions that were part of the same criminal scheme or plan or that were reasonably foreseeable. Now, let me explain to you what this does, all right? And you would not notice unless you get indicted and you go to jail and you face the federal guideline system. You can go to trial on 16 of those counts. If you don't beat all of them, okay, and let's say you beat 15 of them, okay,
that's scary.
You still get sentenced on 16 of them versus, even though you beat them, because here's why. It's the range of criminal activity, okay? So now, this principle goes beyond the specific crime. That means the crime that you were not convicted of. A specific crime the defendant was convicted of. So you got convicted of 1 crime.
Out of 16.
Doesn't mean you didn't get convicted. You beat the actions or the omissions that were part of the same criminal scheme.
I see.
or that were reasonably foreseeable. That's how they get around it. So, for example, that's why they give you a machine. It's called the shotgun approach of charges.
Yep.
They could have came at me or Trump, right, with one count of wire fraud, one count of money laundering, 2 counts, okay? No, they come at you with 16 counts. They make it look really bad. And as you're going through the system, you're getting the counts taken off. So let's say you wind up with 8 counts, right? Well, what looks more foreseeable, beating 8, 10 counts or beating 1 or 2, right?
So they make it almost impossible for you to win.
So let's say you get convicted. You got convicted of the tax evasion, 0 to 5.
Okay.
But now all the other ones, you got convicted of that, but all the other ones you were acquitted. When you go for sentencing, they have another hearing, sentencing hearing. And they bring up they bring up the counts you got. They don't say you got acquitted of them. What they do is they take the actions and the omissions in those counts that you beat, and they throw them back into the sentencing guideline, which automatically goes above and beyond what you got convicted of.
Unbelievable.
So you still get the 15, 20 years.
Yeah. You can't win.
That just makes sense.
You can't win.
No.
That
it
makes
no
sense.
sense. Just
But
like
it makes sense if you're the government.
Does it make sense the way I'm explaining it?
I could,
Yeah.
it does. I could
Yeah.
tell you about a court case that I'm personally aware of where a judge ordered that evidence was not allowed in the courtroom because it gave an unfair advantage to the defense over the prosecution. Let that sink in. What that is evidence that proves that a defendant is innocent of the crime they were charged with, and a judge took it out of the courtroom because it gave an unfair advantage to the defense over the prosecution. That's the justice system.
Well, I got one better for you. We talked about the grand jury, how they keep bringing information to the grand jury.
Yep.
You're not there to defend yourself when they bring the information. So it's a one-sided trial.
Well, and plus, you're not allowed to be there.
Correct.
That's the thing. Not just that you can't, even if you hired an attorney to defend you, that attorney cannot attend that grand jury.
That's one disadvantage you have. That's why they can indict a ham sandwich. Here's the next disadvantage you have, a big disadvantage, okay? It's called hearsay evidence. Now, let's say I want to put you on the stand as my witness. You can't talk about certain things because it's considered hearsay. But what they could do is, at the grand jury, they could take the witness and an agent. The witness just got done telling the agent is now qualified to go testify. But I can't tell you, and then you go testify on my behalf. That's hearsay. Did I just make sense? The way I explained this?
Very much one-sided.
So not to get into my case, I will get into my case. And I have my...
We can't right now.
I have my grand jury minutes, okay? What I will say is you have a witness. Now, usually you need 2 people to go get an indictment, right? Saying the same thing. But when you got one guy saying one thing, he goes and tells a federal agent. That agent now becomes a witness.
It's no longer hearsay.
Like, I forget what the terminology is. It's like called it's a professional witness or something. It's a credible witness now.
Credible witness, yeah.
Now they got 2 witnesses. Those 2 go to the grand jury.
And that's good.
That's
and
it.
They get an indictment.
You're
That's
indicted.
good.
That's good.
It's that simple.
Right? Now
It's all one-sided.
So I
man.
make it up.
You
I
can't
say,
win.
oh, Sonny, I saw him driving 106 miles an hour down the freeway yesterday. I tell it to a cop. The cop shows up and testifies that he heard that Sonny was doing 106 miles an hour down the freeway, and you're indicted. Your ass is dragged into court.
now they got
And
2
because
people.
it was a
got
grand
2
jury
people.
indictment, you're not getting out of it.
Well, here's what happens now. You're standing there. You got people looking at you like, well, why are you here? You know, the government must be right with something. Well, because you wouldn't be standing here with all these charges. So right away, the spotlight's on you. You look like,
You're the bad guy.
right.
Yeah.
So you already have a way uphill battle, right? Then it comes time for the trial. And like I said, if I tell you something, right, part of my defense, you now want to go up and testify on my behalf, just like the agent did for the witness to go get the grand jury testimony indictment, okay? That's not allowed because it's hearsay evidence.
So you can't
win.
you can't win. You
Basically,
can't
you can't
defend
win.
yourself. You can't do anything to help yourself.
So you better see. Okay, let's take right now. Puff Daddy.
Okay.
P. Diddy.
He did.
Okay. You know why he's going to get life?
Because a lot of people are going, and
I'll tell you why he's going to get life. Okay. Because they're going to offer him a plea, and he ain't going to take it.
Yep.
You're right.
If they got a good case, they're going to offer him 30 years. If their case is weakened, and they come down to, hey, what's his name? Sean Combs?
Yep.
Yeah, that's his name.
Mr. Combs, take 10 years. I didn't do it. I'm innocent.
It doesn't matter. You got 10 years in front of you. Take it.
Right. Yeah. He ain't going to take it. Because in his mind,
I can beat it.
Yeah.
So you're going to wind up doing life, is what you're saying.
Now what happens is he's going to go to trial.
He gets railroaded.
He's going to get hit with, I don't know how many counts. He's not going to beat all of them. Okay. He only has to get convicted of one. Now they bring in this relevant conduct.
Yep.
And he winds up getting life anyway.
Wow.
That's what's going to happen.
Government wins.
If you want to make a bet, I'm not a gambler. I don't condone gambling. Although they're trying to get me to go to Talking Stick Casino to go pull.
I think we have to go. I'm sorry.
No, they want me to go there and pull. Why do they want me to go there? They want me to. I'm not a gambler. They want me to go there and pull.
I want to see your face when you hit it.
What do you call them? Jackpot.
The slot machine?
The slot machines.
Yeah.
Who does? The casino?
Yeah. Just stand there. Listen to this. Just stand there on Instagram Live or whatever the hell it is, right? Let us film you playing slots. I don't gamble. Okay. I may or may not do it. If you see me, then you know what it's about.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
Don't do
is,
it without me. I gotta go because
So
I like the slot.
If I see you do that, I know
I
you
like
sold
slot
out.
machines. They don't like me, but I like slot machines.
I got a free lunch.
What'd they offer you? A sandwich for the
Sandwich.
They give me a comp.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna
got
give
a
you a
free-
room and a room by the pool.
Some company.
Yeah,
Anyway,
room by the pool.
what I'm saying is that's why he's going to get life.
Yeah, no, that adds up. You got no shot at winning these cases.
Take R. Kelly.
About. Yeah, another guy.
Another winner, right?
Another guy.
Another guy,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call him.
Yeah,
Same thing. You don't think he got offered a plea? I think he did get offered a plea.
I'm sure he did.
Sure, he got offered a plea. They don't want to go to trial. They want the conviction. He goes, blows trial. He's got 30 years. Good riddance. What's going to happen with this case? Same thing.
Yeah.
No, that adds up.
They'll come down. They'll come down if they got such a. I'm not saying what case they got. I'm not involved.
We don't know. We don't.
I don't want to be involved. If they came with 5 years, think he's going to take it?
No.
I think he's going to get life, and that's it.
You're right.
You know something though? I got to be honest with you. I used to really love his music, the original Bad Boy with when the Biggie.
When Biggie was around. and
My
all
favorite
those guys,
rapper. My favorite rapper of all time is Biggie.
Biggie was good.
Biggie, Tupac, and then I say nowadays 50 Cent.
50
Okay.
Cent, yeah.
See, I didn't like the rap. None of it.
Well-
Not because of the music, but because it killed my industry. I had long hair. I was a rock and roller.
Yeah,
I was in
that's-
bands, so it killed all of our record deals.
Being from New York, being from New York, and Biggie was from Brooklyn, and that whole
Biggie Smalls, baby.
it's a whole thing.
That's where it started, brother.
right. So
The underground.
I got to be honest with you. Now, I'll listen to music now and then that's just Biggie. But anything with his music on there, like that P. Diddy, I don't know. I just
Different time. You know.
just makes me think about. I don't know if I should be saying this, but Michael Jackson. You know, I mean, before when you were Michael Jackson, you love his music, right?
Yeah.
But then when they came out with what really went on, do you listen to his music the same way?
No.
Probably not. Most of the public is going to make their own opinion, you know.
R. Kelly had songs we all listen to. You can't listen to them now because you think of the person singing. You go,
yeah. I was never a fan anyway, but
no, I'll pass. Yeah, no, I'll pass. No, I'm not saying. Listen, I love all music. You know, Pink Floyd's my all-time favorite band.
Really?
For me, Led Zeppelin. The song
I'm
Kashmir.
going to bring the producer for Roger Waters into the studio on your podcast.
Let's do it.
No.
Let's get him.
Dude, I'm a huge Pink Floyd guy.
I will bring him into the studio.
That'll be awesome.
But you know what they say? Never meet your hero.
Yeah, because it could disappoint.
Maybe I don't want to meet the guy.
It could disappoint.
I take your word for it, but it's true.
No, you want to meet this guy.
He's
a really good guy. You'd like him.
I'm just kidding.
He's actually from New York.
I'm just kidding around. You know, but you know how on the street, I got to think of instances where I heard so much about a guy, like legendary stuff.
Yep.
And then when I got older and I was side by side with the guy and started to see, I'm like, man, it's so true. Never meet your hero.
When I was touring as a magician, the act that was on the night before me was David Copperfield. You know, you're a magician.
Yep.
This is supposed to be your hero, right? This guy was
I heard he's not a nice guy.
Can I say it?
No.
Do I have to say it? You're going to bleep me 6 times if I say what he was. So just bleep, bleep,
I got it. I hear he wasn't a nice guy.
That's who he was.
Yeah.
And now I've got a contract. 9 o'clock in the morning, the stage is mine. It's 9:30. This guy's still got his crew out there collecting all his crap from the night before. He's got number 9 piano wire hanging from the ceiling so he can fly around.
You mean he can't fly? Just kidding.
You're going to start going.
Only
I know where you're going with
Sonny
this.
would say that, right?
I know where you're going with this.
Go ahead.
You know, he's an ordained minister, you know.
Yeah. Can't trick me like
I'm
that.
unloading a couple of trailers with my crew into the corner. I'm like staying over here trying to give this guy a little space. Even though the stage is technically mine, I respect this guy.
So it's your show right now.
Yeah, this is my stage.
But you're giving him the respect you think he deserves at this minute.
I think he deserves this because he's the man. He's David Copperfield, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking he's going to say, thank you, for giving me the time to tear down. Oh, no. He comes over and he says, you need to get the hell off my stage.
Nice. Welcome to show business.
Get off your stage.
Now that's entertainment.
This is what he says to me. You need to get off my stage.
With the tambourines.
And I'm thinking, off your stage? What are you talking about? I got to act here tonight. Like, I need to set up. I'm like, trying to be nice. Now I met one of the heroes. And what did I do? I called my contact. I said, I've got a contract that says the stage is mine at 9 a.m. Here I am. I can't set up for my show tonight. So you need to do something about this. Here comes my client. What do? They throw Copperfield off the stage.
Because it's not his right to do that. He can't do it. You're under contract.
They threw him off the stage.
They booted him.
So now he has to wait until after my contract expires to be able to take his number 9 piano wire out of the rafters and the catwalks. So now he's pissed off.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah, now.
Because he can't get to his stuff.
Now he's putting a hit on you. They make you disappear.
Now it's Gianni's time. Now I'm gonna rub it in until there's no tomorrow. Because I know this cat's gonna be out in the audience waiting for my show to end and me to clear the stage so he can come in and get his stuff. So here comes the show. And I do, motorcycle appearances, all this crap, Houdini metamorph, all this junk, right? And then I walk out and I grab this mirror and I look in it and I say, mirror, mirror in my hand, which magician is most grand? And I turn it around and it comes out and it goes, as you know, I do not lie. It is you, not that copper tone guy.
Oh boy. What do you do?
And I went, well, at least the mirror's got a little class. Let's get on with the show.
So what was
I have no idea.
How did that relationship end after that?
After that, I have no clue because he wouldn't come talk to me then. I wish I never would have met him. Honestly, I wish I never would have met him. I would have had the impression that he would have been the guy that I always wanted to meet. And then after I met him, he became the jackass.
So a lot of guys got the name and everybody else just plays the game.
Back to your statement.
And it ruined a lot of things for you.
It did. It ruined the whole art of magic.
Do you really want to meet your heroes?
No.
Yeah. You got to be careful when you meet your heroes. You may be very disappointed. That's
I want to remember my heroes the way I want to remember them.
Right. Yep.
Like you just said, I met my heroes before, and it was a disappointment every time.
The only one that I ever met that I actually could say lived true to that was a guitarist named George Lynch. And he played for a band called Dokken back in the days. And when I met him, he was just hilariously awesome.
Well, as you both know, I have some, you would never think it, but I got a lot of country music experience.
Yeah, we heard.
Not to get into all that, but I think that's...
Which we can't yet.
I think that's more interesting of a story, at least to me, than all the mob stuff.
I think that's going to be a great
I think when you finally start touching on that, the audience is going to be like, what the F? Because
that's a whole nother life that you've accomplished.
We just have to start on Prince Street and Little Italy before we get there, right?
We're gonna be cruising in that direction. So
let me just say this one thing about country music. I've had the pleasure and the honor to be around a lot of musicians, a lot of people in that industry, and I would tell you is some of them it was like I said, a pleasure and honor to meet. And some of them I wish I never would have met. Because it really
changes what you think of.
See who they really are.
Changed my whole... I'll see that he or she performing on national television.
And know who they really are.
And that's
scary.
As far as character.
Yeah. Every industry has them, right?
I mean, look, we're all human. People make mistakes, But, I've been in situations where, I was just looking, going, I just can't believe it.
Can't believe that this guy was, in my mind, this guy was my hero, and now I meet him. And
other things, too. I got to say this. I have to say this. And because he deserves the most credit, and he deserves the one to be talked about first, is Toby Keith. Toby Keith was, to me, the gangster of country music.
Yeah. I could see that.
That guy,
the guy's music, the way he wrote.
Let me tell you something. I could have opened up bars with people along the ways. Got a lot of offers from a lot of musicians. As I was opening the bars, as I was doing business. Why did I choose to put all my eggs in one basket?
Character.
Because of the guy's character.
Character, yeah. It's always character.
The amount of respect that I had for him, the way he lived his personal life, and the way he was.
Why are we sitting here today? Same thing. It's character.
It's respect.
Like I could look at 50 guys who want to tell their story about the mafia and whatever else. I'm not going to work with them. They don't have the character to be able to do it. All they want to do is sit here and talk about me. I've got an ego. I'm a narcissist. I'm whatever else. That doesn't exist with you.
And there's a lot of the studios, maybe not as good as yours, that we could go to do that with. Why do we come here?
Same reason.
I think because I got a good Mexican place down the road.
No. It's the same. It flows the same way.
Yeah, it does.
It has to.
It flows the same way. We got that respect for you.
100%.
And your character, the way you live your life behind business.
I appreciate that. I do.
Outside of business, you still have to be a good character. And that's the thing. If you pick up on that, and through life, you're going to meet a bunch of great people, and you're going to meet a bunch of, not great people.
Uncle Sonny, this brings me to something, because I've read the comments on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh, so you did?
Let me tell you when I read them.
You told me you...
Okay, I'm going to be honest.
I was told to read them like this.
Level honest. Like, I don't talk about it much, but I read them when I'm taking a dump in the morning.
Oh, God, we needed that information.
It's the best time to read something.
I got nothing else to do. So, like, I pull it up and I go, hey, how's it doing? I'm interested to see how Frank's podcast doing.
Do you realize the best decisions are made and the best thoughts are made when you're on the bowl?
I wrote a script when I was on the bowl, and it was an award-winning film. I made it a day later.
My script from the bowl.
Hands down, for real,
write
honestly.
A little book.
Like, this is the God's honest truth.
From the perils of... of my bowels.
How did we get off on this crappy subject?
No, here's the truth. The truth is, I started reading the comments, and that's honestly, that's the only time I really have time. Like,
I get
if
it.
you look at it, all the stuff that I do in a day, I don't have a ton of time. So that's when I have the most time on my hands, and that's when I do the things that are important. And I was going, let me take a look at this. And as I read through all this stuff, I realize something. People have a distinct, almost expectation of what they want Frank to do on his podcast. They come out and they say, I want you to tell nothing but mob stories. All I care about is the mob. Frank says...
But that's not real life either.
Well, hang on. He says, I'm going to bring my friend Sonny in. He didn't say I'm going to bring my co-host in to do a show with me. He had that opportunity and nixed it, right? He started out, he could have had a co-host, and instead, he chose to bring a friend in. And the reason that all of this is working is because it's organic. You got 3 friends sitting in a studio right now, not talking about the mafia. We had some Mexican food. We had conversation all day. We did a lot of things today. And in the end, he got to present some things that people haven't heard before. That is a successful day. And that's the character I want to be around, not the guy who's saying, I'm doing this for the views. Frank came out and said, I'm doing this so that people will donate to dogs and kids.
Children, and yeah.
Right?
Very, very good point. We accomplished, when we leave here today, we accomplished something. I know on my drive back from the west side to the east side, goes through my head. I say, we accomplished something. We got something done. The Monday morning quarterbacks, after the game is played on Sunday, you should have did this, you should have did that, you should have did it. You know what?
It's the easy
come
thing
here,
to do. Yeah.
Come here and play the game.
Put the time in, put the effort in, and play the game.
You want to come on the show?
Those who show up every time and play the game are the guys that are real heroes.
Show up. You want to make a comment? Show your face.
Yeah.
Show up and play the game,
Stop doing this behind closed doors. Come in and tell us what you want to say.
Show your face. I'm face up. He's face up. You're 100%. Face up.
You got
Everybody's face up.
We're having fun. We're doing what our heart's telling us to do. We're doing what he said from show one, how he saw this thing unfolding. Little by little, that's unfolding right before the public. And I hope that all the people that watch and view and subscribe actually see what Frank really is. And that's what this is all about. He's a genuine individual. He's got great stories. We need to hear the stories. We're going to elaborate on a few. We're going to come off on a few. We're going to do a few different things. But we're going to take this thing, I truly believe, because of who he really is. And I think it moves naturally because of who he is. Period.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
Thank
you for saying that.
Yeah.
Toby Keith, his real name is Toby Covell. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Keith is his middle name.
Okay.
And it made sense to call him Toby Keith. I got to be honest with you. I don't think I could have got along with any other musician than Toby.
Why do you say that? Can you tell us, or is that kind of...
There's a handful that I met that I know I could work with if I ever decide to do that again. Toby because,
rest his soul, yeah.
May rest in peace. I still can't believe he died so young.
I know. Tragic, too.
He just had thick skin. The guy was a man's man. I mean, he was an OG. He was like the original gangster of country music. You
can see that about him.
Some people they'll sing a tough song, but they don't live like that. Whatever Toby sang, he lived it.
That's a good way to put it, bro. I think that's very honorable to say about that guy. He lived his music, and he was that guy. He didn't have to pretend.
You know the biggest thing I seen him take? He took a lot of criticism about going to all those USO tours. They didn't think he was genuine about it.
They thought he was in it for the money, right?
He used to tell me about it. He used to tell me how he took a lot of criticism, like when he used to go overseas to play for the troops. They thought there was another motive. They thought it was any other motive but the motive of he had a
taking care of those poor guys that are out there fighting for us, man. That's what he wanted.
He had a deep love and respect for the military. Okay? What had happened was, after so many years and so many tours, this guy risked his life to play for them.
Yeah.
Literally. A couple times. I remember his whole tour was trying to talk him out of it. Toby, you can't keep doing these things. Because one time he went, I know first-handedly, he had went, and he came so close to getting bombed, or I don't know what was around him or something. And then when he got back, they said, Toby, we can't take risks like this anymore. We can't do it anymore. He says, hell no.
No, we'll continue.
He had a deep love and respect. And people, what shows you how brutal and like disrespectful people could be, they always questioned him on it. They always doubted his love and respect for the military. But you know what he did? He stood the course. Yeah. He stood true to it.
He wrote his songs. He performed. He did what he was supposed to do.
And at the end, he proved everybody wrong.
God bless him.
Through him, okay? And him opening up the doors to a culture and a lifestyle that, you know, I come from New York City. Literally, I didn't know country music. I heard of Johnny Cash. Everybody knew who Johnny Cash was.
That's right.
Everybody knew who Willie Nelson was.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Right?
Kenny Rogers.
I never heard of Toby Keith before. I thought he was Tony Keith. I don't know. Tony Bennett. I don't know. I never kept track of country music, how big it was, how you know, tied to NASCAR, tied to just America in general. I had no idea, you know. But man, he was as big as they came. His presence was as big as they are. In my book, there'll never ever be anybody like him we'll ever see again. And I don't think I could have got along with anybody else. Like I said, he had thick skin. These other guys, they can't do business. He knew business, you know. But again, not to get into too deep to that.
I look forward to getting into that one of these podcasts because I think the thing is, it's not just about the past that you might have. There's a lot more to Frank Gioia Jr. than just what happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Yep.
There's a whole disconnect in how you got to where you are today and the things that you've done. And I look forward to sharing all that.
Well, I can tell you this much. There's a lot of musicians that started out in my clubs.
Some guys who you asked not to even come back.
There's like house bands and baby bands, they call them, like they're starting out.
Yeah.
And today they're huge. You see them on these award shows and CMT and all this other stuff, and they're huge stars, right? I tell you, man, I had so much fun, and a lot of them I got so much respect for.
That's good.
But there's that, just a couple, I could count on one hand, that I want to beat their ass.
That'll be another podcast.
Just a couple. And it came close.
Yeah. No,
and it came close.
I'm sure.
But let me tell you something. The laughs and the respect that I have for the mainly the musicians that came to my place, talking about Nashville and all the country music and stuff, you know. But then there's a lot to talk about. There's country music radio. There's the bars. There's different states. There's employees. There's all kinds of stuff. That's a whole separate thing. I can't wait to get to, because that to me is interesting.
It's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun time.
All this other stuff, this mob stuff that they want to talk about, they want to hear. I mean, to me, it's not fun. It's not fun to talk about.
It brings up parts of your life that you really don't want to reflect.
It really
back
taps
on
into,
much,
you know, it makes me think about, like, on my way home now, and I think about Johnny.
Yeah, you're going to think about Johnny all day. When you go to sleep tonight, you're going to be thinking about Johnny. Yeah. You're going to be what Raffy did. You're going to think about a lot of different things, man.
You know, how my friends got killed. One of them I consider, John Petrucelli, was a friend of mine that got killed. Talk about losses
unnecessarily, really.
Yeah. For helping somebody. But you know what they're going to say? You read the comments. What are they going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Half and half, brother.
Everybody's a piece
half
of.
And half.
Everybody's a piece of. What do you call you guys? Him.
This guy's not even in the life.
They want him.
Not in the life.
They want
Who's
to throw
the guy
him
with
out.
the glasses? Why is there a Chucky doll behind you? You weirdo.
Blow him out. Get him out of
here. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
No, but listen, at the end of the day with this, because we're wrapping up now, right?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
I can see him. He keeps looking at his watch.
Only because I got an appointment in about a half hour.
Are the comments predominantly good or bad?
Honestly, they have shifted. So when we first started, it was all negative. At least 80% of it was negative, and now it's gotten much more positive. And here's the thing. Like, the more you realize this is not just about mafia stories. This is about people.
This is about life. This is about people. Psychology. This is about emotion. This is about a lot of different things. We're going to touch on so much stuff here.
You got it.
Look, I enjoy if he's comfortable and this is growing the way it's supposed to, I'm happy. If I believed everything that I read in the first place, I'd be a lunatic. Comments, I won't read them no more. I read them a couple of times.
Let me wrap this up.
If you want mob stories, you're going to get them, but you're going to get them Frank's way. You're getting them Frank's way. You're not getting them the way that everybody else does it.
It's meant to be in this particular show. That's it.
let me wrap this up and make this clear to everybody out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sonny, I got your back. Michael, I got your back.
I
got
that.
both of your backs.
I appreciate that.
Nothing or anyone, okay, is going to stop me or us. Okay.
Yeah,
So I got your back.
We're here to do what we're supposed to
Just
do.
let
We're
you know. I want to reinforce that I got your backs.
Thank you.
Whatever happens.
Thank you.
Whatever
Thank you for that.
comes our way.
That's it.
And that's it. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So
listen, I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you when I see you. Give me one of those.
You want a fist bump?
See you when I see you. Hey, subscribe.
How many?
I know he says he doesn't care.
I care.
Folks. Subscribe.
Frank might not care, but we care if you subscribe.
Subscribe, like, tell your friends. We're different. That's it, plain and simple. Hopefully everyone out there is a little different, and if you're different, watch this show.
And I plead to you, I had to buy Sonny a new chair. So like and subscribe because
that's what I care about.
We gotta pay for the chair.
That's what I care about. Kids and dogs.
Kids
St.
and dogs.
Jude's.
A1 and A2.
St. Jude's, autism, and my friend's got a dog rescue.
Yep.
Throw the money there. We're not panhandlers.
It's on the website. Go look at it.
Go look at it and do that.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you when I see you.